Hey, what's going on? Mark here for Unoriginalnoobs, back in Minecraft on a new creation I have made. And first I just want to say one thing. I can't upload the rest of the adventure map to YouTube because I had recently, or when I had recorded the adventure map, I had a little external drive, a new one that I bought. So I saved my video files on that, but that little hard drive went corrupt, and now I've lost all that adventure map data. So, anyway, of course we beat it, and the end is just basically a massive underground cave with more diamonds than you could count. And that's about it. So anyway, here's my new creation. It is a tic-tac-toe game. So if we just switch time of day here, and it's turn-based, and whenever you press a button, it will automatically switch between X and O, so you don't have to hit a lever. So let's just say I choose this. So person with O chooses that. And now an O shows up. And also, oh, just another thing, I am now able to upload videos longer than 15 minutes. Woohoo! I was actually really excited about that. So anywho, now you can see it's automatically changed from O to X. So now X is going to choose this one. Okay, now X, and now it switches back to O. So now O is going to choose that square. Alright, and now it flips back to X. Now X is going to be an idiot and go there. And then X shows up. And now O is going to be a little smarty and go there. Okay, now no matter what, X is going to lose because he goes there. So X is going to go there. And O is going to go there for the win. There we go. There is no win or loss detection because that would be out of my mind of how to do all this with just redstone. So there is nothing like that. So let's flip it back to day, and we hit the reset button, which clears the board and sets it back to O go first. Alright, so let's take a look at the behind the scenes. Alright, so this is broken up into a few different parts. We have input, and then I'm going to call this the signal carrier. So we have input that goes to signal carrier. Let me just turn some fog on. Let it load. So we have input goes to signal carrier. That signal carrier goes to the DIP, DIP, or double input protector. Now this double input protector gets inputs from two places. It gets input from the carrier and gets input from, it's a toggleable button system so it knows whether or not it's X or O. And then once it goes from the DIP, it goes into here, which then goes up to its corresponding display area. So now let's go look at each part individually. First, we're going to look at the toggleable button because I wanted to have it so that when the player hits a button, you don't have to hit a lever for X to go. So what I found here on the internet is a toggleable button circuit, and how it works is when the player presses the button, the input then goes off, and then you press it again, the input goes on. And how it works is when the player presses the button, this signal goes two ways. First way goes this way, which trips the RS latch and sends a signal that way. But then it goes through these, well, I don't know what these are, just torches on the side of a brick, but these take a little bit more time to get all the way around than that does, which then resets the latch. So once the on redstone signal goes this way, it turns this torch off, which goes here and turns both of these torches on. And what that then does is it disables both of these RS NOR latches, or both of these torches, which then makes this completely off. But what also happens after that is it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll try my best. Because if it's like this, and then, so they both turn off, but what's going to happen is then this one's going to remain on, so then this one's going to stay off when that one's on, so that it can flip. And then if the other one's on, like this one, then it's going to send a current which is going to disable this one, vice versa. It's kind of hard to explain, but it all makes sense if you just just kind of look at it and play with it. The next part of this puzzle is the dip, or double input protector. And the challenging part about this is I had to make it so that they were able to be stacked side by side. I couldn't make it so that we had a big wire thing going out like here, or else they can't get stacked side by side. And all this really is two RS NOR latches with the ability, so if one gets turned on, it will prevent the other one from being turned on. So here, green means input, yellow means output, and white means reset or hold. So say this input comes on, right there. So now the input's going to change. But now if we try to hit the bottom one, it's not going to work. So we just got to just reset it here. Okay, but now if we try and hit the bottom one, now it'll work, and now this one won't work. And the challenging part about this was to get a reset system going into it without interfering with any of the other wires. As you can see here, this I did not like making. It was actually really fun to make. It was a little challenging, but it was all good. And now how they all work side by side is, oh, let's not fall down, is, so let's just go and hit a bunch of inputs. And the top is O and the bottom is X on the actual board, or the actual game. Alright, so now we have a bunch of inputs. So now the reset system, the reset current trigger would come in here and will go, and what it will do is it'll go here and goes down underground and goes here, and this goes to all the RS NOR latches here. So that's the RS NOR latch. And then the trickier part was getting it above the above ground one, because I had to move a lot of blocks around, and I took the concepts of redstone repeaters, that they do not connect to redstone wires by sideways, and they will power a block so that this redstone will get powered, whether it's from the bottom redstone latch or the reset. Either one will trigger. So now if we hit this reset button, you can see you'll see the string of redstone going down. It's like that doesn't go all the way just out of rendering distance, but there, all the torches have been reset. It's pretty simple. It wasn't too hard to make, just took probably 20 minutes to get the base model, and then I'd say another 20 minutes, not even, to refine it and get it all to work and make it as small as possible. The next is the display. Now what was tricky about the display is the fact that I only have a one space between two torches. So it was very interesting, I'll say, to make it so that inputs do not interfere with each other. So let's just go look at the single model. And how this works is if a torch is getting input from a white piece of wool, that means it's going to be turned on whether it's going to be turned on when X or O is on. If it is getting input from a blue piece of wall, then it is only going to be turned on if the O is selected. And of course, if it's getting input from red, it's only going to be turned on if it is receiving it from an X input. So for just the base model, which was kind of tricky to make because I also had to make it so they're able to stack on top of one another without interfering with each other, and that was also a tricky part, but it all works out in the end. And let's just see if we can run through it. So if we hit this to turn on O, the signal is going to go through here and it's going to stop at this lever so it doesn't turn that on. And what it's going to do is it's going to follow this, go down the white, and I also took the law, I'll say, of that a repeater will power a block, so it'll actually power this redstone behind it. So it'll continue and it'll go down to all the inputs. The white was actually the easiest to make because it goes on the 4 corners. The blue, however, was a little bit more interesting because I had it interfering a lot with the red. So as you can see, I use a lot of repeaters, and the law that repeaters will not interfere with redstone on a sideways basis. And you will notice that in the actual display, the torches do not all turn on simultaneously. That is because it would be extremely difficult to time them all at the same time. But anyway, that is basically the end of, I guess there's one more thing. How does it know whether or not it's X or O? Well, I already told you about the toggle button. Here's the toggle button circuit. And it's actually flipped around. Here we go. There's the toggle button circuit. Here's the input right there. And the output is right here. And all it does is it goes through here. Just put on Superfly. And then it goes to AND gates. And what happens is I have a flipper, I guess I'll say, so that if the input coming in is off, then this will turn on, which will turn off all the torches on the left side of these gates, but will keep these ones on, so that when you get an input, the input's going to come down and it's going to go, if say someone selects the top left, the input's going to come down and it's going to go to both of them. But only one of them will have the second torch off, which will allow for this torch to turn on, which will then decide whether or not it goes to the top or the bottom. And now it is turning nighttime, so I guess it's going to be the end of this little demonstration. I hope you liked it, and I'll see if I ever upload this to a downloadable area where you can download the schematic or the world save. That link will be in the description. But anyway, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed it. Bye.